My major was commercial photography.
No kidding.
Yeah. I think the photography allows you to sit down and observe a little bit more. Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of CISOs Making Cocktails, where we mix signature drinks with stories from the world of security. My name is Ryan Kaz, CISO at Wiz, and I'm joined today by Henry, CISO at Ensora. Welcome, Henry.
Thank you, Ryan. Good to meet you.
And we are also joined by our amazing bartender and mixologist, Vernon.
I hope we're ready for a little mocktail today.
So what will we be having today?
Today, for you gentlemen, a MoCISO. Are we all good with mint?
Sounds fantastic.
Definitely.
2 seconds, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I love learning about CISO's daily routines. Are you a wake up and fire drill mode type person? What's your start of day process?
Yeah, thank God the wake up through fire drill days are mostly over, not the wood. We are a healthcare company. We are operating in a public cloud. So my days are usually kicked off with a sanity.
Are you one of those people that have your phone at your bedside?
Believe it or not, I don't. My team knows, right? If they need to get a hold of me, they can call me, text me, provided that I'm awake to answer the calls.
Every week you can go through this job without getting paged in the middle of the night is a good win.
If I could take a moment of your time, gentlemen.
Of course.
2 drinks for you. Please enjoy.
So what's your go-to toast in your family?
I'm a Chinese, so we say ganbei.
Very good. Ganbei.
Come back.
Ganbei. There you go.
Enjoy.
It's really good.
Have to ask, if y'all chose to be a cocktail, which one would you be?
I was gonna say old-fashioned because I at my age now, I think I'm old-fashioned.
Old fashions have no age.
I'd like to say gin and tonic, but I'm like not James Bond cool, so I don't feel like I can actually like assume that identity.
You think that, but you don't give it off.
Where did you start out? Like, what was your first career in industry?
I actually started database, DBA, right? This is before even DBA was a thing. And I honestly hated the job. What interested really is the infrastructure.
Was there a point where you were decided like, this is the track I want to take in security?
Always interested to build security into the network infrastructure, even though there's no CISO or regulator asked me to do so. I always feel that I needed to protect, right, the infrastructure.
I imagine you're very accustomed to operating in heavily regulated environments.
100%.
How have you balanced that for your teams to just keep their focus not just on checking the box in terms of compliance needs, but also advancing true security priorities above and beyond that?
I always tell my team, don't think, okay, I checked the box, the auditor will be happy. You're doing that because you materially reduce the risk.
Yeah, and earlier before we started, you were mentioning that there's a lot of M&A.
Yeah, with the merger acquisitions, the very common problem, I think the CISO's nightmare is you don't know inheriting from other business. I really have a deeper conversation with the other side to understand the security practice. I think my favorite question for any M&A is, tell me the number of security incidents you have dealt in the past 12 months. Usually a small company, the answer is, I have none. You know the answer, okay, either you don't know,
Yeah.
or you know, you don't classify them as a security incident, right?
What about for your teams, especially those that are in the trenches dealing with security incidents? How do you get your teams to celebrate wins or feel like they're making progress?
I'm always tell team, take a breath. Every problem has a solution. The bigger the problem, the bigger the solution, right? In the end, if we're successful in mitigate event, we need to have a drink together with your team to celebrate.
What about your
Kampai.
Right.
Kampai.
Yeah.
What about your partners in the executive team? Security incidents are part of the zeitgeist now, right?
Yeah.
Like, has that shaped their perception of your role?
I definitely see the maturity even across different executive team over time. Enough maturity to understand the breach will happen. What they're asking is how to respond to it and how do we reduce the risk to the minimum.
Maybe to pivot to talk about one of the inevitable hot topics in security, which is the impact that AI-enabled technologies are having.
I think we're starting to see the AI-enabled attack every day now. Attackers, they took no time to take advantage of what's going to help them.
What about as defenders, though?
A lot of my questions, I don't really need to engage human analysts anymore. I just go to AI chat, saying, okay, in the past 7 days, show me the most prevalent security alert.
In natural language.
In natural language. I think AI definitely enable to ask the real questions from huge amount of the data.
I'm sure AI is one of the areas here, but what are some of the other skill sets that you think up-and-coming CISOs need to focus on developing to be ready for the role?
You know, the regulation is always changing. I think CISO definitely needed to be more aware of non-technical aspect of the job. Go to meetings, attend seminars, read laws. I read GDPR, and you have to understand what does that mean.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dealing with memorization, memory and flavor kind of lock in together. Is there any flavor or anything you do that kind of keeps your memory intact?
Modern technology, whether it's ChatGPT, definitely help you to enforce the memory. So for me, I like to write notes.
I've actually found handwritten notes are the best way to cement something in my memory, but my handwriting is terrible, and so I can't read my own notes.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Is there something you've learned over the years as a CISO that you don't think anything could have prepared you for?
That's a great question. I really didn't realize how much the secure program ultimately translates to the business. You have to thinking about from a customer perspective. You can't talk to customer expecting them to know enterprise risk management.
Finally, like when you look back on your own career, if you were to go back to yourself in your first role as a DBA and give yourself a piece of career advice, what would that be?
I saw some social media saying, follow your passion. And people say, oh, that's terrible advice. Don't ever do that. For me, that worked. I always fascinated with, the communications, right? I think that interest really pushed me to do what I'm doing today.
Well, Henry, thank you so much for joining us again. And Vernon, thank you for the delicious MoCISO.
Please enjoy.
Thank you. And that wraps another edition of CISOs Making Cocktails. Thank you so much for joining, and see you on the next one.